tá com um efeito de comercial de shampoo de mulher. Não sei. Sério? Deve ser o shampoo que você tá usando.
Shampoo feminino não foi feito para você. Do mesmo que foi.
Well, as you might or might have not guessed, we are presenting Dove today, and we would like to start with a little history of Unilever and Dove, and then go deeper into the case.
Unilever was created as a logical merger of Dutch Margarine Uni and British Lever Brothers, as they both depended on the usage of palm oil. Unilever is is a leading global manufacturer of consumer goods, and it is operating in food, home and personal care industries. The main brands of Unilever are Dove, Lipton, Ben & Jerry's, Axe, Vaseline, Knorr, and etc.
Before 2000, Unilever organized work of marketing and brand management. Within one product, the firm offered multiple brands, and each with a separate brand manager. Each of these managers acted as a general manager for the brand and making decisions on advertisement, trade promotion, and the design of the strategy, etc. In effect, the brand started acting as separate business. They started competing with their so-called siblings, as well as with products of other companies, and this resulted in financial difficulties for Unilever. Moreover, the global decentralization of brand management resulted in problems connected with control. That's why Unilever decided to reduce the number of its brands.
We are sure that you are familiar with the term brand, but let's define it again. So a brand is a name, a term, symbol, or design, or another feature that defines one seller's product from another seller's. So it creates a definition voice for a product. So in February 2000, Unilever was established a 4-year strategy plan called The Path to Grow, and the main idea of this plan was the reduction of the number of its brands from 1,600 down to 400.
And a small number from those 400 would be named as master brands, and they would be such umbrella identities that would group similar brand categories under that one brand name. And you can understand that this would facilitate the management of the brand, and it would be easier to manage those brands. Some of those master brands are Hellmann's, Knorr, and of course Dove. After the establishment of the master brand, the whole old brand management system couldn't work anymore, and it was completely changed to the new brand management system, which was divided into two parts, the brand development and the brand building. So the brand development was responsible for the strategic planning of the brand. It was responsible for the strategic sales, strategic advertisement campaigns. So it was more of a strategic planning, and the brand building was the operations part of the brand management. So they were, after the brand development part was planning this strategic part of the brand management. It was brand building who was responsible for actually making those activities happen, and they were free to decide which of the brand development products that they would use, how much amount of money that they will use for this or that advertisement campaign. So they were not dependent, but they were strategically connected.
Dove is a personal care brand, which is widely recognized all over the world, and it is sold in 35 countries, and it was introduced in 1955. And one of the most important things to know is the logo, the history of the logo of Dove. And here we see the dove, which illustrates purity, gentleness, and it illustrates peace. And why it was gold? Essentially, it was gold because it introduced joyous and wealth. Then it was changed to silver in order to be more identical with the symbol of dove, in order to symbolize purity and peace, and to establish its ideology based on the logo.
Okay. The first Dove product was launched in 1957. It was called Beauty Bar, and well, its claim was that Dove swab does not dry out your skin, because technically it's not a swab at all. Well, they illustrated this claim by picturing a cream pouring into a table and a tablet, and they used these pictures in papers, in TV, everywhere. By 1980, many physicians, like basically doctors, used Dove soap to treat dried skin. So before the 2000, the advertisement of a brand was based on functional superiority of the product.
So Dove became a master brand in February 2006. It grouped under its name other Unilever brands in personal care categories such as hair care products, hairstyling products, facial cleansers, and so on. No more could Dove communicate mere functional superiority, as functionality meant different things in different categories. So Unilever decided that Dove should stand for a point of view, and the process of conversations with women, the process of market research and consultations with experts began.
The search for that point of view began right away. Worldwide investigation was conducted into women's responses about iconography of beauty industry, and the results were deep discontent. The result was deep discontent. Young, white, thin, blonde were the almost universal characteristics of women portrayed in advertising and media. But for most of the women, these were just unattainable standards. For a search for alternative viewpoints regarding the beauty standards, Unilever cooperated with psychologists who came up with the illustration that only 2% of 3,000 women surveyed in 10 countries describe themselves as beautiful.
All findings led to the campaign for real beauty, and they hired avant-garde photographer, well known using very ordinary people for a supermodel context. And this was the result of Thick Box campaign. And in this campaign, billboards asked to vote for the best option, and the viewers were asked to vote whether a woman was outsized or outstanding or fat or fit. At first there were a lot of negative comments, but soon they were outnumbered comments about all this.
The next series of ads were introduced in 2005. Here you see 6 beautiful ladies, real beautiful ladies. Real beautiful ladies that introduce real natural beauty. And these ads were known as a campaign of firming skin because it introduced creams that firmed their skin. And here we see a great transition from functional part to the ideology. Because this was a great transition, but one thing was for sure that some people criticized this, saying that if people are essentially beautiful, why they need this? And those criticisms were overcome very successfully because Dove introduced himself as a real brand, saying that if you are beautiful, you need this in order to be more hygienic and to have more firm skin. And this doesn't necessarily mean if you need firm skin, you are not beautiful.
The next step in the campaign was particularly controversial. At a Dove leadership team meeting, an effort was made to engage executives in the idea behind this campaign, the campaign for real beauty, and they filmed the daughters of these executives discussing their challenges regarding their self-esteem. The impact was enormous. At one point, the focus was on a girl, a teenage girl with freckles, with the caption, "Hates her freckles." At another point, an Asian pretty girl was shown with the caption, "Wishes she were blonde." The ad itself was widely admired. However, the controversy erupted over the fact that the ad didn't show any product. It didn't mention any product. And the question arose regarding how the company was going to return on the investments via media. However, the supporters of this ad prevailed, and the ad was run during the Super Bowl football game in 2006.
Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid.
The fourth step of Campaign for Real Beauty was not an advertisement but a film. In Canada, Dove's brand building team was running some self-esteem workshop for women, and an advertising agency made the 112-second film to bring attention to the workshops. The film, North American brand building team saw this film and decided that it deserves more bigger audience. The film was named Evolution. It was showing face of a woman as makeup, hairstyling, and photo editing transferred her face from plainness to billboard glamour. So that's the film was long and it couldn't be shown on TV, so it was posted on YouTube, and after 3 months it had more than 3 million views. So let's watch it.
Okay, folks, so grade 5, please, cameras forward, and we're recording sound. Slated for
So let's go to the mission statement of Dove. Dove's mission statement Dove's mission is to make more women feel beautiful. More women feel beautiful every day by broadening the narrow perception of beauty and making them feel to inspire them to take great care of them. Every worker in Dove knows the statement by heart, and they know that the statement is not to make women feel more beautiful, but it is about making more women feeling beautiful. The notion of Dove is the notion of Dove is democracy. Oh, come on, I forgot the word. Democracy, celebratory and inclusive.
Okay. Let's talk about the criticism. It appears that Dove Real Beauty campaign has also other opinions. Some say that it's not really that good. I'm going to talk about some points, some opinion. Yeah. Well, the first one is negative effect on self-esteem. In 2012, a study conducted, and so what happened? There were two groups and different groups, and these groups were shown two different live a program that seeks to impact the positive body picture to the members. Like they see the show and they say, "Oh, how beautiful I am!" But these two programs were different. In the first program, real women were shown, like in advertisement of Dove. They were of different shape, different size, different appearances. And on the second video, they used old-fashioned ideal thin women. But the impact on the both groups were the same. The women still feel body-focused anxiety, and the explanation for this phenomenon was that even if in the program were used real women, these real women reminded that how difficult it is to get to the to get thin, to get like ideal appearance. And the second one is contradictory standards. Dove's main idea was that every woman around the world is beautiful, no matter of their appearance, of their size. But on the other hand, Unilever has another product, such as diet food, which claims that every woman should be thin. So they claim that Dove is not that honest, and it's just a way to sell their product.
To add to this point, they also have an X deodorant, which is meant for men. And while campaigning for this brand, they use models that are basically ideal and not also use that not attainable beauty standard. So it was very contradictory, and many critics would say that Dove is just whitewashing, and it's not actually, Unilever is not supporting the idea that Dove is advertising. And the next point was that after the fact that Dove entered into the internet marketing by putting their commercials or short films on YouTube, it was lacking control of the debates that would arise after that film. So it was very risky to just leave that debate and talks to the wild public, because they couldn't, they were risking to lose their multi-billionaire, billion worth company, because of the fact that many people, just ordinary people, would say that the campaign is using fat women, that they don't want to see those women on their bus stops, that they are fed up with those campaigns, that they are not actually endorsing anything other than the product, and they were not controlling the effect that those campaigns could have on the public. Nevertheless, the campaigns were very successful, and Dove gained billions of dollars after those campaigns, and that's what basically marketing is for, to make profits. But in this case, Dove was actually accentuating a point of view, an idea that everyone is beautiful, and they were doing this by using a very clever act. They partnered with Girl Scouts of America, and they made self-esteem workshops for girls aging from 8 to 17, and they showed that and they showed doing those workshops, they were showing during those workshops, they created the movement for self-esteem, and they were teaching girls that everyone is beautiful in their own way, and it's not just about personal care or about using beauty products. It's just about the feeling, the self-esteem that comes from the inner body of a person, not just the looks. And we think that the campaign was very successful, and it is still going strong after 10 years of its start.
Have you also looked at the campaign where women were invited and the photographer